against me shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against me in judgment thou shalt condemn.
Fame, fortune, and the bright lights of hip-hop stardom.
You can't touch. I told you, homeboy. You can't touch.
For these 10 artists, it wasn't enough. At the height of their careers, they heard a different calling.
This is mad, I get more butt than ashtrays.
From platinum records to pulpits, from sold-out arenas to sanctuaries, these rappers walked away from everything to find something greater.
Boom, I done hit everything from Cancun to Cancun. Why you stand on the...
Stories of spiritual transformation are as powerful as any verse they ever recorded.
Till 6 in the morning. So what you wanna do?
If you love real hip-hop history, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's explore the journeys that changed their lives forever. 10. Kurtis Blow. Kurtis Blow was hip-hop royalty. In 1980, he became the first rapper signed to a major label when Mercury Records took a chance on him.
The Breaks! Break it up, break it up, break it up!
His single, The Breaks, became the first certified gold rap record in history.
The Breaks, that's the break, ain't you all? Money from the mob!
Selling over 500,000 copies and proving that hip-hop could be commercially viable.
That's the Breaks, the IRS says they want the jack, that's the Breaks.
Throughout the 80s, Kurtis Blow was a household name, appearing in movies, commercials, and defining what it meant to be a rap star.
That's the Breaks, and my belt sent you up and Bill, that's the...
But by the 90s, Blow's career had declined. The music industry had moved on and younger artists had taken his place.
Breaks to lose, these here breaks who rock your shoes, and these are...
He struggled financially and personally, battling depression and feeling lost without the fame that had defined his identity for so long.
Breaks, she runs off with him to Japan, that's the Breaks.
The man who had pioneered an entire genre found himself forgotten, struggling to find purpose in a world that no longer celebrated him.
Throw your hands in the air right now! Yeah! Throw your hands!
In 2009, everything changed. Kurtis Blow became an ordained minister, dedicating his life to spreading the gospel through hip-hop ministry.
Don't stop to the breaks, break.
He founded the Hip Hop Church in Harlem, creating a space where young people could worship God through the culture they loved.
Stop and you don't stop, you don't stop and you don't stop.
Blow traveled the world, preaching at churches, conferences, and events, using his platform to inspire spiritual transformation. His message was powerful and personal.
Some folks got him and some have not, and these are the Breaks.
He spoke openly about his struggles with pride, materialism, and the emptiness of fame without faith. Blow told congregations that all his success, all his money, all his fame had left him feeling hollow until he found God. His testimony resonated with people who'd watched him in his glory days and now saw him transformed by faith. Kurtis Blow's ministry work continues today.
A little break dancing in the house. Y'all want to see me?
He's performed at churches worldwide, blending worship music with hip-hop culture, proving that the genre he helped create could be used for something greater than entertainment. The pioneer who helped birth hip-hop found his greatest purpose not on stage, but in service to God.
The whack lyrics, the shit is depressing, pathetic. Please forget.
9. Craig Mack, November 1994. Craig Mack released Flava and Yair, one of the biggest hip-hop hits of the decade.
The ransom notes, far from handsome, but damn a nigga too.
The song, produced by Easy Mo Bee and released on Bad Boy Records, became an instant classic.
This is mad, I get more butt than ass.
The remix featuring the Notorious B.I.G., LL Cool J, Busta Rhymes, and Rampage was even bigger, showcasing Bad Boy's roster and establishing the label as a powerhouse.
Word up, no rap, no crap, you bore me. One to grab my body.
Craig Mack was on top of the world. His debut album, Project Funk Day World, went gold, and Craig Mack seemed destined for superstardom, but something went wrong. His follow-up album, Operation Get Down in 1997, failed commercially, and Bad Boy Records shifted its focus to Biggie, Maze, and other artists. Craig Mack felt abandoned, overlooked, and frustrated with the music industry's politics and priorities.
More guns than roses, foes is shaking in their boots.
By the early 2000s, Craig Mack had largely disappeared from hip-hop.
It's been 3 years since your last year, but now I reappear.
Rumors circulated about where he'd gone and what he was doing. The truth was more unexpected than anyone imagined.
Vicious when I bust around. I know one thing the whole world is expecting.
Craig Mack had joined the Overcomer Ministry, a religious community in Walterboro, South Carolina, led by Pastor Ralph Gordon Stair. He completely walked away from hip-hop, dedicating his life to faith and spiritual pursuits.
I'm everlasting, like it's so on Procast, a Tech 9. When I
The Overcomer ministry was controversial. Pastor Stair was later convicted of assault and sexual misconduct.
time for new flavor in your ear, I'm kicking.
But Craig Mack remained committed to his faith, even amid the organization's troubles.
Take off my hat. Yes, I'm just cool like that. The dangerous, the rugged,
He lived a quiet life, far from the spotlight, working and worshiping within the community.
hardcore. It's my time to burn, to explore. The flavor in your ear.
Friends and former colleagues tried to reach out, but Mack had chosen isolation and devotion over fame and fortune.
Just give me couscous, love me good. Damn. Holla.
On March 12, 2018, Craig Mack died of heart failure at the age of 46 near the Overcomer ministry.
When it does it, niggas buzz it. But tell me,
His death shocked the hip-hop community, many of whom hadn't realized how completely he'd withdrawn from the world.
I'm here to bring the drama.
Yo, flavors getting.
Craig Mack's story is both tragic and testament to the power of faith. He found something he believed was more valuable than platinum records or industry recognition, and he pursued it until his final day.
Is to stay in the clear. It's all for you. It's really all for you.
If you're finding these stories of spiritual transformation powerful, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're exploring the journeys of hip-hop legends who found something greater than fame, who traded platinum records for peace, who discovered that the soul needs more than success. Don't miss the rest of these incredible stories. Subscribe now and let's continue this journey together.
It's been 3 weeks since you were looking for your friend.
8. Lauryn Hill, August 1998. Lauryn Hill released The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and the album changed music forever. It debuted at #1, sold over 10 million copies in the United States alone, and won 5 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year. Lauryn Hill became the first hip-hop artist to win that prestigious award.
Don't be a hard rock when you really are a gem.
She was universally acclaimed, beloved, and positioned to dominate music for decades. Then she disappeared.
And you probably talking out your neck saying you're a Christian.
After the massive success of Miseducation, Lauryn Hill largely withdrew from public life and music.
Who you gonna tell when the repercussions spin? Showing off your ass cause you think.
She gave birth to several children, dealt with relationship struggles with Rohan Marley,
A win-win, come again. A win-win.
and underwent a profound spiritual transformation that changed how she viewed fame, music, and her purpose in life.
Philly pin. It's silly when girls sell their souls because it's sin. Look at where you be.
Lauryn Hill began speaking about spiritual awakening, religious manipulation, and the corruption of the music industry. She described feeling controlled, exploited, and pressured to compromise her values for commercial success.
In hair weaves like Europeans, fake nails done by Koreans. Come again.
She talked about Zion, her firstborn son, as a spiritual revelation that showed her what truly mattered.
You fan poppin' yang. You got yang. Let's not pretend. The one that pack pissed out by the way.
Hill's worldview shifted dramatically from celebrity to mother, from entertainer to seeker of truth.
The second verse is dedicated to the man more concerned with his rims and his.
Her performances became unpredictable and sparse. When she did perform, she often arrived late, reworked her classic songs beyond recognition,
Court case when the child support's late. Money taking, heartbreaking. Now you wonder why women hate
and delivered lengthy spiritual lectures to confused audiences who'd come to hear hits.
him and his women, him and his man. Come in the club like hooligans. Don't care who they.
Critics and fans alike struggled to understand what had happened to the woman who'd created such a perfect album. Some blamed mental health issues. Others saw spiritual enlightenment.
Come again. My friend, come again.
Lauryn Hill's relationship with organized religion is complex. She's referenced Christianity, Rastafarianism, and various spiritual philosophies in her rare interviews and social media posts. What's clear is that her faith journey led her away from the mainstream music industry and toward a life prioritizing family, spiritual growth, and personal truth over commercial success and public approval. Today, Lauryn Hill performs occasionally, still commands respect for her artistic legacy, but operates entirely on her own terms.
Basement, crystal by the casement. Still the name of the basement. The pretty face man claiming.
Her story demonstrates that spiritual awakening doesn't always look like organized religion or ministry work. Sometimes it looks like walking away from everything the world values to pursue what your soul demands, even when the world doesn't understand.
So, check it out. First got it when he was
7. Lupe Fiasco, born Wasalu Muhammad Jocko in 1982, grew up Muslim in Chicago.
And this one right here, I dedicate this one right
Unlike other artists on this list who found religion after fame, Lupe's Islamic faith has been central to his identity throughout his entire career.
here to all my homies out there grinding. You know what I'm saying?
But fame tested that faith, and his journey as a devout Muslim in mainstream hip-hop deserves recognition as one of the culture's most significant spiritual stories.
Legally and illegally. You know what I'm talking about?
When Lupe broke into mainstream consciousness with Kick Push and his 2006 debut album Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor, he immediately stood out.
Representing that first and 15 year.
His lyrics were intellectual, socially conscious, and deeply informed by his Islamic worldview.
His neighbors couldn't stand it, so he was banished to the park.
He rapped about skateboarders, social justice, and philosophical concepts, while most mainstream rap focused on materialism and party culture.
My man got a little older, became a better.
His faith created constant tension with the music industry. Lupe refused to promote alcohol, despite lucrative endorsement offers. He spoke out against materialism, violence, and the exploitation he saw in hip-hop.
The world with no place to go, and so we kick, push, kick.
His Islamic beliefs informed his political activism, his criticism of American foreign policy, and his outspoken stance on Palestine, often putting him at odds with industry gatekeepers and mainstream media.
Push, kick, coast. So
After his second album, The Cool, went platinum, Lupe's relationship with Atlantic Records deteriorated. The label wanted commercial hits. Lupe wanted to make music aligned with his values and faith.
and coast.
The creative battles became public and bitter, with Lupe using social media to expose
And coast.
what he viewed as the label's attempts to compromise his artistic and spiritual integrity.
And the way they roll, just lovers intertwined with no place to.
His 2011 album, Lasers, was forced by the label to be more commercial than Lupe wanted. He spoke openly about feeling violated artistically and spiritually by the process.
Just a rebel, looking for a place to be, so let's kick.
The internal conflict between commercial success and religious principles reached a breaking point.
Yeah, before he knew he had a crew that wasn't no punk, and they spit.
Lupe seriously considered retiring from music altogether, believing the industry was incompatible with his Islamic faith.
Yeah, so she took him to a spot he didn't know about, some modern.
But Lupe ultimately chose to stay in music, using it as a platform for education and activism.
Kick, push, coast.
Albums like Tetsuo and Youth and Drogas Wave were artistically ambitious, deeply philosophical, and unapologetically informed by his Muslim worldview.
Go, and so they kick, push, kick.
Lupe Fiasco's story shows that finding religion doesn't always mean leaving music. Sometimes it means transforming how you approach your art.
An escape route they used to escape out when things got crazy. They
Using fame as a tool for higher purposes, and refusing to compromise your soul for commercial success. 6. Ali born Ali Jones was a founding member of the St. Lunatics, the hip-hop group from St. Louis that included Nelly. When Nelly exploded onto the scene with Country Grammar in 2000, the entire St. Lunatics crew benefited. Their 2001 album, Free City, went platinum, and Ali was part of one of the Midwest's most successful hip-hop collectives. But as the St. Lunatics' fame grew, Ali underwent a profound spiritual transformation. He converted to Islam, embracing the faith with complete dedication. The conversion wasn't just nominal or cultural. It fundamentally changed how Ali approached music, fame, and his entire life. He began studying the Quran intensely, praying 5 times daily, and restructuring his priorities around Islamic principles. His conversion created tension within the group and the industry. Ali struggled with the conflict between Islam's teachings and hip-hop's culture of materialism.
Right out the hood, 'cause I don't like the hood. I tell all my people to think twice in the
Alcohol promotion and sexual content. He watched his groupmates and peers in the industry engage in lifestyles that contradicted his newly adopted faith. The internal conflict became increasingly difficult to navigate. Ali became vocal about his faith, using interviews and social media to discuss Islam's impact on his life.
but it's still McDonald's. And the movie, baby. So crazy.
He talked about how Islam had saved him from destructive paths, given him purpose beyond fame, and provided structure and meaning that hip-hop's success couldn't offer. His transformation was genuine and complete, affecting not just his public image, but his private life and daily decisions. The music industry wasn't always receptive to Ali's religious devotion. Promotional obligations, touring schedules, and industry expectations often conflicted with Islamic practices like daily prayers and Ramadan fasting. Ali had to make choices between career opportunities and religious obligations, choices that sometimes cost him professionally, but which he made without hesitation. Today, Ali continues to balance his music career with his Islamic faith. Though music is no longer his primary focus, he's become an advocate for Islam within hip-hop culture, representing a generation of Muslim rappers who've navigated the complex intersection of faith and fame. His story demonstrates that religious conversion can coexist with hip-hop, but it requires constant vigilance, sacrifice, and commitment to principles over profit.
Barking from the dog, no small. And mama cooked the breakfast.
5. Ice Cube, born O'Shea Jackson in 1969, was one of hip-hop's most aggressive and uncompromising voices.
But later, as I hit the dope, thinking, will I live another 20?
As a member of NWA, he helped create gangsta rap, writing some of the genre's most controversial and powerful lyrics.
Just waking up in the morning, gotta think.
His 1990 solo debut, Mary KK's Most Wanted, established him as a force, and albums like Death Certificate made him one of rap's most politically confrontational artists.
Homies, and I'm asking y'all, which part are y'all playing basketball?
In the early 1990s, Ice Cube converted to Islam, specifically aligning with the Nation of Islam led by Lupe Fiasco.
If I hit the switch, I can make the ass drop.
The conversion wasn't subtle or private. It fundamentally changed Cube's lyrical content, political perspective, and public persona.
I finally got a call from a girl I wanna dig out. Hooked it up.
His music became explicitly political, addressing systemic racism, economic exploitation, and black empowerment through an Islamic lens.
Messed around and got a triple-double. Freaking brothers every way like.
Death Certificate, released in 1991, was Ice Cube's most controversial album, heavily influenced by his conversion. Tracks like No Vaseline showcased his lyrical prowess, but other songs reflected Nation of Islam teachings about black self-sufficiency, criticism of white America, and controversial views on other groups. The album sparked intense debates about anti-Semitism, racism, and the role of religion in hip-hop. Ice Cube's faith informed his activism. He aligned with Farrakhan's political and social agendas, participating in events and publicly supporting Nation of Islam positions. His conversion gave him a framework for understanding racial inequality and systemic oppression. Islam wasn't just spiritual practice. It was political ideology, cultural identity, and revolutionary framework all combined.
Lakers beat the Super Sonics. Felt on the big fat fanny.
But Ice Cube's relationship with Islam evolved over time. As his career expanded into movies and business, the explicit religious content in his music diminished. He faced criticism from some Muslims for participating in Hollywood and mainstream entertainment.
No plus nobody I know got killed in South Central LA.
Industries that some viewed as incompatible with Islamic principles.
Beams, no helicopter looking for the murder.
Cube navigated these contradictions by maintaining his faith privately while building a massive entertainment empire.
Demi runs deep, so deep, put her butt.
Today, Ice Cube is one of hip-hop's most successful moguls, with a career spanning music, film, television, and business.
Pulled out the jammy and killed the punani. And my
his Islamic faith remains part of his identity, though less prominently than in the early 90s.
Use my AK. I gotta say it was a good day.
Ice Cube's story shows how religious conversion can inform artistic and political evolution.
Then I'm coasting, took another sip of the potion, hit the three-wheel.
Even as commercial success creates complex negotiations between faith and industry demands. 4. Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg shocked the world by announcing he'd converted to Rastafarianism and would now be known as Snoop Lion.
With so much drama in the LBC, it's kinda hard.
The announcement came after a spiritual journey to Jamaica, where he'd traveled to record a reggae album. Snoop claimed he'd been reincarnated as Bob Marley and that Rastafarian priests had blessed his transformation during a ceremony. The conversion seemed bizarre to many fans and observers.
I kick a little something for the G's and make a few.
Snoop Dogg, the gangsta rap legend who defined West Coast hip-hop alongside Dr. Dre, was now claiming to be a reggae artist and Rastafarian priest.
Yeah, so we gon' blow up to this. G's up, freeze.
The skepticism was intense, with many viewing it as a publicity stunt or midlife crisis, rather than genuine spiritual transformation.
I got a pocket full of rubbers and my homeboys do too.
But Snoop was serious, at least initially. He released Reincarnated, a reggae album, and a documentary of the same name showing his journey through Jamaica, his meetings with Rastafarian elders, and his spiritual awakening. He spoke about feeling called to spread messages of peace and positivity, moving away from the violent imagery that had defined his early career. The Rastafarian phase included lifestyle changes.
It's fine when you're listening to the D.O.G. I got to cultivate and music that.
Snoop had always been associated with marijuana, but now he framed his cannabis use as spiritual sacrament rather than recreational drug use.
Feel the breeze, say you know I'm just rolling down the street.
He talked about Jah, spoke about consciousness and enlightenment, and attempted to position himself as a spiritual leader rather than just an entertainer. However, the Snoop Lion era was short-lived.
All the time, you gotta get yours, but fool, I gotta get mine. See everything.
The reggae album received mixed reviews and didn't achieve commercial success comparable to his hip-hop work. Gradually, Snoop returned to his Snoop Dogg persona, continued making rap music, and the Rastafarian identity faded into the background.
Degrees when I tell that trick, please raise up off these NUTs, cause you get none.
Critics claimed they'd been right about it being a publicity stunt, but perhaps that judgment is too harsh.
Everybody got their cups, but they ain't chipped in. Now these types of things happen.
Snoop's spiritual exploration, however brief, represented a genuine search for meaning beyond fame and fortune.
Get on out of here. You two, get on out of here. I want everybody out.
Not every religious journey is permanent or perfectly executed.
These, at ease. As I mob with the dog pound.
Snoop Dogg's Rastafarian phase shows that spiritual seeking can be genuine, even when it doesn't result in lasting transformation, and that the path to enlightenment isn't always straightforward or permanent.
No fear, I will know no pain from the light to the dark. I will show no
3. DMX, Lifelong Battle with Faith, 1970s, 2021.
shall prosper. And every tongue that rises against me, judgment thou shalt condemn.
DMX, born Earl Simmons in 1970, had one of hip-hop's most complex and heartbreaking relationships with religion.
Rebuke you for what I go through and trying to make me do what I used to. With all
Unlike artists who found faith after fame, DMX grew up in church and maintained deep Christian beliefs throughout his entire career. His faith wasn't a conversion story.
I need to talk to you, Lord. Since the last time we talked, the walk has been hard. Now
It was a lifelong struggle between spiritual devotion and personal demons that ultimately defined and destroyed him.
with just a mention of my Savior's name, in the name of Jesus, devil, I
From his first album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, in 1998, DMX's music was saturated with religious imagery, prayer, and direct conversations with God.
trapped in your own mind, waiting on the Lord, hunting with the word that
He would end concerts with prayers, speak passionately about Jesus Christ in interviews, and express genuine love for God, even while rapping about violence, drugs, and street life.
cuts like a sword. The spoken word is stronger than the strongest man.
The contradiction was jarring and sincere. DMX's most powerful moments often came when he spoke about faith.
The whole world like the strongest hand. Through the trials and tribulations, you never let it.
Videos of him praying with fans, leading thousands in prayer at concerts, or breaking down crying while discussing his relationship with God went viral.
Know you're still with us now. Keep it real with us now. I wanna feel, show me how.
His raw, unfiltered spirituality resonated with millions who saw their own struggles reflected in his tortured soul. DMX believed in God desperately, but
What to do? Lord, give me a sign. Forget, live, or die.
couldn't escape the trauma and addiction that haunted him. His battles with crack cocaine addiction were public and devastating. Multiple arrests, prison sentences, and rehab stints punctuated his career.
No weapon formed against me shall prosper.
Each time, DMX would emerge speaking about God's grace, forgiveness, and his determination to get clean. Each time, he would relapse.
Show me what I got to do to bring me closer to you.
The cycle was heartbreaking to watch, made worse by his obvious sincerity when he spoke about wanting to serve God properly.
Carries the whole world like the strongest hand. Through the trials and tribulations.
April 2021, DMX overdosed and suffered catastrophic brain damage from lack of oxygen. He was kept on life support for days while fans worldwide prayed for his recovery. On April 9, 2021, he died at age 50. His memorial service was a powerful testimony to his faith. Featuring Christian worship, prayers, and tributes acknowledging both his talent and his struggles.
About life ain't nothing, but you either be the one mad cause you trap or the one.
DMX's story is the most tragic on this list because his faith was real, constant, and ultimately insufficient to save him from his demons. He wanted to serve God. He believed in God. He loved God.
Tell me what I got to do to bring me closer to you, cause I'm a...
But addiction, trauma, and pain were too powerful. DMX's relationship with religion wasn't about finding faith after fame. It was about faith existing alongside darkness, a lifelong war he tragically lost, but never stopped fighting.
By the E, get a key to the Lex to hold. East, West, every state, come on, bear.
To Mace. Mace was on top of the hip-hop world. His 1997 debut album, Harlem World, had gone quadruple platinum, selling over 4 million copies.
Red legs, TVs, all up in the headrest. Try and live it up, right?
He was Bad Boy Records' golden boy, Puff Daddy's protege, and one of the biggest rappers alive.
I'm in my fresh clothes, dresses I suppose, from my neck to my toes. Neck for
At just 24 years old, Mace had money, fame, platinum plaques, and everything the music industry could offer. Then he walked away from it all.
gold, baguettes in my rolls, rec shows, collect those extra O's.
On April 20, 1999, during an interview with Funkmaster Flex on Hot 97 in New York, Maze shocked the hip-hop world by announcing his retirement from music.
Ship Chris, spit it up, hoes rock, get your nut till I can't get it up.
He wasn't taking a break or pursuing other business ventures. He was leaving hip-hop completely to pursue a calling from God.
You can't understand, we be Waikiki.
The announcement stunned everyone, including his label mates and Diddy himself, who reportedly learned about Maze's decision through the radio.
Intellect or bins, let's begin. Bring this BS to an end. Come on.
Maze moved to Atlanta and enrolled at Clark Atlanta University, studying ministry and theology. He founded SAE, Ministries, Saving a Nation in Danger, and began preaching at churches across the country.
Come on.
The transformation was complete and dramatic. The rapper who'd made millions talking about luxury, women, and partying was now a minister preaching about salvation, sacrifice, and spiritual warfare.
Show you how daddy ball. That's right. 6 cars and power to 5 big stars. Sit up CEO.
His ministry attracted thousands of followers, particularly young people who'd grown up listening to his music.
Take hits from the 80s, but do it sound so.
Maze brought hip-hop sensibility to preaching, making church feel accessible and relevant to a generation that had felt disconnected from traditional Christianity. His churches in Atlanta and Phoenix grew rapidly.
Went from hard to sweet, starved to eat, from no holy shows to menages.
And Maze seemed to have successfully transitioned from rapper to respected religious leader. But the story didn't end there. In 2004, Maze returned to music with Welcome Back, an album that attempted to balance his faith with hip-hop.
You make me feel so good. You know you make me feel so good.
He rejoined Bad Boy briefly, then signed with G-Unit, then returned to ministry, then came back to rap again.
If I could, come on. I wouldn't change you if I could.
Let's go.
The constant back and forth between pulpit and studio confused fans and damaged his credibility in both worlds. Personal scandals complicated matters.
Do Mace got the ladies? Do Puff drive Mercedes?
His 2014 divorce led to many congregants leaving his churches. Diddy publicly called him a fake pastor during their ongoing financial disputes.
Harlem World.
You make me feel so good.
Bad boy.
You make me feel so
Maze's attempt to balance ministry with music career created contradictions he never fully resolved.
Cause you can't stop.
I wouldn't change you if I could.
Mason bet.
Today, Maze continues to navigate both worlds, but with the stained credibility of someone who couldn't decide between God and the game.
Ass cat with my check be. Problem with y'all, I said directly.
His story is a cautionary tale about the difficulty of truly leaving fame behind, even when the calling seems clear.
My music hits me so hard.
1. Mack Hammer, MC Hammer, born Stanley Kirk Burrell, was the biggest rapper in the world.
You can't touch this.
His album, Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em, had sold over 10 million copies in the United States alone, making it the first diamond-certified hip-hop album in history.
You can't touch it. I told you, homeboy.
You Can't Touch This was everywhere. The parachute pants, the elaborate dance routines, the Saturday morning cartoon.
Yo, let me bust the funky lyrics. Fresh new kid.
MC Hammer had achieved a level of mainstream success no rapper had reached before.
You can't touch this.
But Hammer's empire collapsed spectacularly. His lavish spending was legendary. He employed over 200 people, maintained a staff of personal assistants, bought multiple mansions, and spent money faster than he earned it.
Either work hard or you might as well quit. That's word because you...
In 1996, MC Hammer filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, claiming debts of nearly $13 million.
You can't touch this.
The media coverage was brutal, turning Hammer from cultural icon to punchline, a symbol of excess and poor financial management.
Break it down.
The bankruptcy devastated Hammer, but it also awakened something deeper.
And bands, you got it like that, now you know you want to dance, so move.
He'd been raised Pentecostal and had even met his wife Stephanie at a church revival in the 80s, but fame had pulled him away from his faith. The collapse of his empire forced him to reconsider everything. What had all the money, fame, and success actually meant if it could disappear so quickly? What was truly valuable?
I toured around the world, from London to the Bay.
In the late 1990s, MC Hammer became an ordained minister. This wasn't a publicity stunt or career strategy. It was genuine spiritual transformation.
When I dance to this, and you're gonna get there to move, slide your rump.
Hammer began preaching at Jubilee Christian Center in San Jose, California, alongside the church's existing pastor.
This, with others making records, that just don't hit.
He started a Sunday evening service that drew Christians from across California who wanted to see the transformed rapper preach the gospel. What made Hammer's ministry remarkable was his humility and sincerity.
On the mic. Now why would I ever stop doing?
He preached for free, refusing payment and serving voluntarily. He openly discussed his mistakes, his pride, his materialism, and how bankruptcy had been necessary to break his spiritual complacency.
Hammer's just so hype. I'm dope on the floor and I'm magic.
Whether the bankruptcy played any role in my refocusing, that's great, Hammer told the LA Times in 2000.
Stop. Hammer time. Every time you see me.
But the most important part was love, missing the love of God in the way I had known it.
Break it down.
Hammer hosted MC Hammer and Friends, a Christian ministry program on Trinity Broadcasting Network. He continued making music, but now gospel music and Christian hip-hop. He worked with churches worldwide, using his platform to spread messages of faith, redemption, and God's grace. The man who'd been destroyed by excess found purpose in service.
Stop. Hammer time.
Today, MC Hammer balances ministry work with business ventures and occasional performances. But his primary identity is no longer entertainer. It's minister. Hammer's transformation from bankruptcy to blessing represents the most complete and sustained religious conversion on this list.